Welcome, welcome. This is Real Talk Baseball. I'm Carlos Baseball. With me is Ernie Orange, and we have a great show for you guys today. But before we start that, how's it going, Ernie?
Hey, Carlos, how's it going, man? Welcome back. We're excited for a new show with you guys. Hope you guys could join in live so we can get some great questions. We have a lot of exciting news to share with you guys. So I hope you guys tune in for the rest of the show and make
Yeah.
sure to like and subscribe this video. And we hope to hear good feedback from you guys.
Yeah, if you have a comment or anything, we can go ahead and put it on there and we'll put it on the show and we'll do it as we go. We do have a good show today. We do have the Mexico series, the Padres and Giants out there. We have the Yankees, what's going on with them, the Cardinals, the White Sox. Is it time, for them to sell and rebuild, And then we have a Did You Know? So we'll go over the Did You Know at the end. If you stay over, you'll get some good facts on that. But let's start with the first thing on the show, which is one of the things that we're kind of excited for this weekend, right? The Giants and Padres. They had a good series out there in Mexico, and there's a lot of people who were criticizing and stuff like that. But dude, were you excited about this series?
You know what, Carlos? I was very excited, man. It was really exciting to see baseball in Mexico. I know a lot of fans are huge fans out there, and they were able to support by watching these teams come to visit them. It's been a
Yeah,
new initiative of the MLB trying to bring international games to major baseball markets, which is really fun.
yeah.
It was a sellout crowd for both games, and we saw a lot of offensive power from both teams, which was very exciting baseball, and fans got to enjoy it, man. What do
Yeah.
you
Hey,
thought
what's
about
up,
it?
Japs? What's up, Jasper? I didn't mean to cut you off, Ernie. But yeah, dude. I honestly love the series. I think they should make it more to where they have more teams go out there. That's not, especially if it's from the West Coast and they're trying to promote the game so it can, grow. They should be able to do that. But there was 11 home runs in one game, and there's a lot of people criticizing that because they felt that it was not part of the game. But if you really think about it, and if you really look at what is Rob Manfred want, he wants more home runs. He wants more exposure, and this series brought that to them. Right, this series there was, like I said, 11 home runs in one game, and I mean the fence wasn't as deep as it's been, So the elevation out there, I think we talked about it this last show. Colorado is 5,200 feet above sea level. And then if you go to Mexico City, it's 7,349 feet above sea level. So that means the ball's going to travel a lot more. That you're talking about 2,000 feet compared to Colorado. So you're going higher in elevation. The ball's going to travel a lot more. Do you think that they didn't juice the balls? I'm pretty sure they did. They had to. Like, it's one of those things that you're trying to have, like, fans to be more, into the game, so why not do it, right? So I feel like I think this series was one of those things where Rob Manfred wanted more people and more exposure to the game, which I think it was good. You have Manny Machado out there as well. Like, he's asking that if they can have a game out in the DR, República Dominicana, and DR, Dominican Republic. So if they do decide to do that, that'll be a series that I would like to see. And anywhere, I think, right? Earlier, like, I don't think it's just Mexico. It's anywhere in that's close to United States because of the
That,
traveling, right?
that's correct, Carlos. So the MLB World Tour is coming. They're trying to find ways to grow the game internationally. We actually have a London tour coming this summer as well, with the Cubs and Cardinals facing this summer. So you could tell Rob Manfred is trying to do anything in his power to grow the game. The Mexico series has just got announced by the MLB that there will also be another game out there next year with the Astros against the Rockies. So, like we mentioned before, Rob Manfred's doing everything in his power to grow the game. So, and like I said, man, why not do this with a lot of offensive power? The elevation definitely helped the Padres and the Giants, but man, don't you think the tacos and the food out there had anything to do with that and give them some power? It was great to see all the Padres superstars hit home runs this weekend, which was amazing. So, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. They were partying out there.
Listen, hey,
I just
and
got
both
that one
teams
on.
embraced the Mexican culture, which was very cool. You got to see Machado rock the lucha libre mask. They were having the piñata party after the sweep. I mean, it was great to see stuff like that. So, what are
Yeah,
your
it
thoughts?
was.
Dominican Republic is next. We're there.
Dude, that'll be cool if they do it. I know they had it in Puerto Rico not too long. I don't want to say a year or 2 years ago. or maybe pre-pandemic. I'm not sure when it happened, but I know there was a Puerto Rico series, which is really good for the sport of baseball. Remember, we're trying to grow this game, right? We're trying to have more exposure. And there you said earlier there's
I know how.
a London game.
That is correct. The London tour is coming later this summer. I'm not exactly sure what dates, but that one's a little bit tricky because with the travel dates, the travel is a little longer than most of these other countries. So it'll be crazy to see how that all works out.
That's pretty crazy. Sorry, I think I got lost for a little bit. But if it does happen, which I think it's in the schedule, it's going to be kind of crazy because traveling to Europe is going to be probably taking a day off or two, and then coming back again. You know, day off or two, and then jet lag. So all those things are coming into play for these whoever's going out to London. I know they just had a game last year. I believe it was the Yankees and Red Sox. They had a lot of home runs out there too, like so I think that's what it is. The theme is for people to like see home runs and stuff. Like they don't want to go see a pitching duel,
Yeah.
it's kind of something that here in America we do want to see a pitching duel once in a while, but the home runs, I guess the game is surrounded by home runs more than it is pitching. So I think for the world to see the game and people seeing home runs, I think that's what they're going for. But
Do you think
but
that
yeah,
do you think that one game the statistics are gonna bother the pitchers a lot by allowing this many runs?
dude, that's the thing. Like I know there was a lot of people out there, and there's one video that I saw from Sean Estes. I believe he was a player back then. I'm not sure, but he's an announcer, I guess, in down in San Francisco, I believe, and he said that he did not like the game because there was too many home runs, and that the game is not like that. That's not how you play the game. That he hit I guess Tatis hit a 98 mile per hour. I guess after the swing, the ball left his bat at 98 miles per hour, which is not considered to be a home run anywhere here in the United States. So he was kind of hating on that. He was kind of being a Debbie Downer. He said he was being a Debbie Downer, and
Okay.
I took exception to it because I'm kind of like, dude, like why not, be happy that there's a game somewhere else. It's not just here, and home runs are happening. This could trigger a team to get back together. Like the Padres, they haven't been struggling a lot, but for the star power that they have, yeah, they are right. But this could be one of those games for them to kind of light stuff up and come back to the states and start hitting again. And
That's
for the
that's
Giants
very
as well,
true.
right? Right.
This could definitely
So
change the momentum for the Padres because they were definitely struggling, and all their star players were not really playing well together. It was either one player having a good day or the other. But this was the first series we got to see all four players, ball out and hit home runs, which was amazing.
yeah, dude, it's just one of those things where we just have to kind of agree to disagree or agree to agree that the game is played somewhere else. Well,
Right.
if let's move on to the next one, dude. We've been
For
talking
sure.
about these guys in a while, and I know we've been seeing Aaron Judge news and all that stuff, which he hit the IL today with that hip problem. And dude, the Yankees are in last place. This graph, right, I guess this standings were from Monday morning when I put this stuff together. But the Yankees are in last place. Red Sox won today. Dude, what's going on with the Yankees?
Hey man, the Yankees are struggling offensively and they're being decimated by injuries. It just seems that they can't get nothing offensively going. With Judge being out, like I mentioned before a couple weeks back, the Yankees are Aaron Judge dependent. They depend on every offensive power from him. There's really no hitter in the Yankees lineup right now that could hit any more than 20 home runs right now, in my opinion. They are struggling. They're having a hard time getting on base. And then with the pitching, I'm not sure if you have a slide, Carlos, right? But I think there has been a ton of injuries. Almost their starting lineup is all hurt right now. We have Luis Severino, Carlos Rodon, Frankie
Yeah,
Montes, which has not pitched all year. And this
yeah,
is hurting the Yankees big time, man. Garrett Cole's the only one out there throwing good stuff out there. Domingo Herman had a good game today, but unfortunately the bullpen blew the game.
yeah.
But man, what the heck is going with the Yankees? Giancarlo Stanton just can't seem to stay healthy. It's been very frustrating for these young Yankee fans. They do spend a
It's
lot of
crazy.
money,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
unfortunately, they can't put nothing good out there in the field. So
Yeah, it's crazy because every year we hear a standing going to the IL, and it's like, when is this guy not going to go to the IL? I know it's hard. It's an everyday thing that you have to kind of condition and get ready for the season, and you have to get stretch and all that stuff. I'm not saying that. Oh man, he's always injured. Like yeah, he's always injured, but we don't know how hard it is to play the game and to play full 162 games in a season, and that's pretty hard to do. But this man has been on the IL for a long time. It's one of those things where if he's playing, it's kind of surprising to hear his name on the starting lineup, and not because he's bad. It's just because he's battling all these injuries and stuff like that. You have him. You have what is he? Josh Donaldson out too with the
Mhm.
hamstring, and then Aaron Judge, of course. Like, is that one of those things that is the Yankees depending on Aaron Judge a lot? Are they falling back to him? He is the captain. Why not,
Mhm.
right? So it's one of those things where if the Yankees don't get all their injured players back, they're gonna fall back even further in the standings because you're on the AL East. The AL East is pretty hard, and let me put that back up here. I think I have all the stuff down here, and we'll be able to do this way. But dude, they have all like up here in the top. So you have the Rays, you have the Baltimore Orioles, Toronto Blue Jays, then you have the Red Sox, and then you have the Yankees. The Yankees are all the way down there. They just lost, so that means they're 15 and 15. They're barely 500. But the Rays are playing strong ball right now. The Baltimore Orioles, that's one of those teams that you didn't expect for them to do good, and they're up there as well. So you have all the three teams that were supposed to be doing really well. The Blue Jays, Reds. I don't know about the Red Sox. I feel like the Red Sox should be around there, but not fully on the top. And then you have the Yankees, which are all the way at the bottom, but they have a lot of injuries, and we'll see what happens there. But
That's that's true, man.
whatever.
And so with all these injuries, I feel like the Yankees are depending on all these young talent to produce, and there's a lot of pressure playing in New York. You know,
Yeah,
the fans and the media out there are really tough on these players. You got the
yeah,
Aaron Hicks; he gets grilled every game. I feel bad for this guy, but
yeah.
man, but the pressure's really bad, and it makes me wonder. There's other players that left the Yankees this year that are doing so much better. We have Aroldis Chapman that's balling out with the Royals. Sonny
Yeah,
Gray, Joey Gallo, they're having great seasons. Carlos, do you think
yeah.
the pressure has anything to do playing there at New York with this
Of
Yankee
course,
fan?
man, dude. Not only that, but if like, for instance, I'm one of those superstitious players. When I used to play, I would, if I got a home run one day and I had some certain socks, I would probably wear the same ones. Or if I was in the batting slump, I would even raise my socks up, do something different. So if you're
Right,
in the Yankees and you have facial hair like Joey Gallo did, he had to shave it off. Remember, and he didn't like that. He
I
hated it
know.
actually. He was like, and that's one of the things he talks back to Yankee fans when they boo him and stuff like that. Like, hey, it's time to change the traditions of that old way, like having clean cut and stuff. Whatever it is.
Right,
If the Yankees are doing it, then that's on them. But at the same time, it's like, dude, if they ask me to shave, and I'm not saying I'm good or anything, but like if the Yankees were to ever approach you as a baseball player and you have facial hair, would you take it off? Like you have to if you're going to that team. It's an expectation. So
right,
superstition has a lot to do with these players changing teams, going over there, the pressure. I mean, it's more media out there in New York. They expect a lot more from you than any other team. I mean, every team expects you to play, but I guess New York puts that extra special, I guess, flavor to you performing to your highest potential.
for
Sonny Gray
sure.
is one of the top pitchers right now, dude. Can you
Look at
believe
it, man.
that?
He was a
Yeah,
great pitcher with the Oakland Athletics when he came up in the league. Just went to
yeah,
the Yankees and just was not the same. The guy went through some terrible games out there, and I felt bad for the guy.
yeah.
But this is what I'm telling you. The pressure is just too much for me, and I think the players are definitely struggling. But gonna ask you a quick question. Do you think they're gonna miss the playoffs?
Who, the Yankees?
Yeah,
Oh man, I
I
don't know.
don't
I
see them
mean,
coming back.
you don't see them coming back. I
No,
think
I
the
really
AL
don't.
East is hard, dude. The AL East is hard by itself. Um,
Yeah.
you put me on the tough spot with this one, the Yankees, because look, if you say they're not, they're gonna have this video, they're gonna post it somewhere, and they're like, yeah, this guy said that the Yankees weren't gonna make it. There's a lot more Yankee fans than there is any fans of any other team, and
Put you
for
on
me
the
to
spot.
answer, yeah, for me to answer that, I think look, if Judge comes back and Stanton comes back, helps out that team. You need Donaldson back as well, which they're getting older. These guys are getting older. If they don't come back, I think they don't make it because they do need Judge to be healthy. They do need Stanton on that lineup. They do need Josh Donaldson in that lineup because DJ LeMahieu can't do it himself right now. I think his last 21 at bats, he only got 2 hits so far. So it's one of those things where you start seeing these things and you're like, it doesn't make any sense. But like I said, if these guys aren't healthy, and then you still have 3 starters, right, or 2 starters are still out, that they're not coming back. That's a lot of things that needs to fall for them. So at right now, I'm gonna say no. They're not making the playoffs, and it's too early. Like we've been talking about this since last week. Is it too early to call Cy Youngs? Is it too early to call out MVPs? It's only 1 month of baseball. April was a good month for everybody. Look, they're still 500. They could still probably make the wild card, but there's 4 teams ahead of them, and there's two
That's
teams
true.
ahead of them for the wild card spots right now. So I'm gonna say no right now, man. What about you? Are
It's
you gonna
looking.
say no or yes?
I'm gonna say no as well. It's just looking very tough with how the Orioles, the Rays, and the Toronto Blue Jays are playing. It's just gonna be
Yeah,
hard to match their competition level, and especially with the injury plague that going on right now, it's just gonna be tough for them, man. It's just one of those you're just gonna have to move on and wait till next year.
yeah,
There's a lot of
yeah,
Yankee fans out there in Twitter, man. They're pissed. They
yeah.
are they know that this season's done, but they're just keeping their minds busy with the Knicks. I had like mentioned before, the Knicks are keeping them happy, so they're forgetting about baseball. So, but we'll see
Yeah,
what happens.
yeah. We'll see what happens. Jasper, Sox rebuild. You know what? We have a segment on the White Sox. That's why I have the White Sox hat. I knew you were going to get on, so we're going to talk about the White Sox. And you're not too far from what we're thinking, too. So if you stay on, I would like to see your opinion on this one. But let's keep going, dude. I think for sure the Yankees are going to be, um, it's going to be a problem for them. Yeah, it's going to
You
be a
didn't want to
problem for
say it,
them.
huh, Carlos?
I don't want to say it, dude, but whatever. We'll keep it moving. Let's go to the next one. We see the Cardinals are doing not so well as we thought. They're one of the teams that should be on top of the division because the division doesn't look that strong or didn't look that strong. Like they look like the Cardinals were going to try to win that division easily. That maybe the Brewers were going to be giving them a hard time, but you have the Pirates up there, and the whole month of April. We were talking about the Pirates. Are they going to reel? Are they beating the teams up? Are they beating these teams up that are not 500? But then you see teams that are going to Pittsburgh and they're beating them. They're playing baseball. So I feel like the Pirates, at this point right now, they just got to keep it up. They got to keep playing the way they're doing now. And for the Cardinals, they're 9 games under 500, dude. Do you think they come
Yeah.
back?
This was looking really hard, Carlos. I still think they have the potential because they have two superstars there with their team, but they just have underperformed for the month of April. They're having a very, very slow start. Nolan Arenado and Goldschmidt are just not hitting home runs. It's just shocking to me. They just
Yeah,
got swept by the Dodgers this weekend. They look very bad offensively. The team definitely struggled. The pitching is just not up to par that we expected. It's a huge shocker because I think everybody had them as a favorite for the NL Central.
yeah,
And Pittsburgh Pirates are just showing that they are for real. They had a
yeah,
tough series with the Dodgers, but they pulled out. They won 2 out of 3 games and they lost one really close. So it's gonna huge 10 games just to come back. And you got the Brewers as well, have really strong pitching. And I'm not too sure if it's gonna be a really tough one for them for sure.
yeah. It is. It's going to be a tough one, and maybe we shouldn't be considering the Central to be one of those teams that they're easy. Now you're seeing 3 teams on top because the Cubs are not easy as well. Like the Cubs have been playing good baseball as of late, and the you have the Cubs, you have the Brewers, you have the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I'm not saying St. Louis is out of it completely. They have a little bit more of a chance to catch up in their division than the Yankees do because the Yankees you have more proven playoff teams than you do out here in the Central. But it doesn't mean that the Central is not. It's going to stay this way. It might change. It might get to a point where Pittsburgh gets tired because they have a lot of young players on that team, right? So for the Cardinals, the pitching, the ERA is 4.45. Man, they're 18th of 30. So they need to get it together if they want to compete in this division. You have Goldschmidt that has 4 home runs. You have a Ronaldo batting 264, I believe, and that's one of the things that where you see a Ronaldo every year, and his batting average is slightly going a little lower, but then and when it comes to midseason form, he starts playing a lot better. So that's why I'm saying with the Cardinals, it's kind of one of those things where they need to find a leader as well. I don't see a leader because you had Yadier Molina there for so many years. You had Albert Pujols there for so many years, and he
Uh-huh.
came back last year to play his final season with the Cardinals. But I don't see that. Contreras is behind the plate right now, and that could be a big factor. For having a catcher there playing what. I don't know how many years he played. I don't know if he played 20 years there, but when you have a catcher that knows what he's doing back there, and I'm not saying Contreras doesn't, but Yadier Molina is a Gold Glove catcher, and he used to navigate this pitching staff, and now you have Contreras, and that could be one of those things too, right? A contributing factor for the Cardinals not being in first place. So,
Definitely.
oh,
I think
yeah,
I think that's the way to turn the season around. Definitely has to go on the pitching side. They have to get acclimated with Wilson Contreras. They need to figure out a way to get these ERA down and start winning some close games. Offensively, I'm not worried about Goldschmidt and Arenado. They'll get back to it. I think they'll be ready by midseason. But the pitching is definitely a huge factor, and they have to do something about it, or else we'll be seeing the Pirates and Brewers moving on from this division, either or.
yeah, yeah, we will, and that's we do see your comments, and if we're not responding to them, it's just we're putting them on here, and we're trying to go through them as we go or do our live show. But thank you guys for putting your comments and stuff like that. If you disagree with us, go ahead and put it on there too. Just don't forget to hit that like button, or if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe as well. We're trying to get as much as possible so we can see if we can have more shows. I know we've been doing more shows lately. We got on twice on Friday, and now we're getting on today, and we have another show on Friday. So more shows, more visibility, more baseball, and we love doing this thing. So if we keep moving with our show, we'll go ahead and talk about the next guys, man. And these guys, Jasper, we just talked about it. We wanted you here to hear what you think about the Sox. And the Sox, man, they're not in last place, but they're close to being all the way down there. And it seems like the White Sox are not getting anything done these days. They have a lot of players on that team that can do a lot of damage, but for some reason they can't find it and they can't put it together. I mean, dude, what's going on with the White Sox, man?
Hey, Carlos, this White Sox team is definitely struggling offensively. There is a lot of issues with this team. The managers are having a hard time controlling these players. We have Leon Hendricks out with cancer right now. Unfortunately, it's a sad story, but hopefully we could get him back. But the pitching, is it time to sell? I think it is, man. I think you have a video of Luis Robert of this weekend, right, Carlos?
Yeah, I do. I do. You want me to play it?
I think
I'll go
so.
ahead
Do
and
we
put
want
it.
to go over that play?
Yeah, I'll put it on here. And this one's kind of like one of those things where it's like the beginning of the game, and come on,
It's the first
uh,
play of the game, Carlos. And look at
it is
this
the first
running.
play. He didn't hustle.
You think
He
he's
didn't
hurt?
hustle.
He got
No, I
benched the
think
next day.
he got benched the next day because he didn't hustle. The same thing happened to Acuna a couple years ago where he didn't hustle a double, I believe, and he stayed at first. And I think for some reason, I don't know, it's a long time ago that this happened, but I think that if he would have made it to second, he would have been able to score on the next play. But he tried to steal second base, and I think they got him out. So
Okay.
two bad things happened in the same game for him, and they sat him down the next game, and they were just saying like, "Hey, you're out here, you need to hustle. At least pretend that you're hustling, like, or
Right.
that's another thing with this team. I feel like there's not a leader on this team. I said
There's
that about the Cardinals. Like, there's no identity on that team. I feel like the White Sox are in the same boat. I just feel like they do need to sell. They have too many star power right now. I think they need to go ahead and start looking for players or teams to trade all these good guys that they have. Sox need a shift. I agree, man. Then you have a lot of star power out there, Jasper, and it's not one of those things. One of those teams we're picking on. Is just we've been talking about the White Sox for a while now, saying that this team is really good, but they can't put it together. We have Jamal. How's it going, Jamal? Jamal just said that he's reportedly cancer free, so it's a good thing for Liam Hendricks. And he's cancer free, and he does. If We're just waiting for him to come back. I don't know if he's picked up a ball so far, but if he does, the White Sox do need him. And you do have all these injuries on the White Sox as well. You can't count those things out because a lot of people think that when a player gets injured, they're like, it doesn't matter. He's going to come back. But it does matter because sometimes the morale in the team, goes down. You have Jose Abreu. He left to the Astros. He's probably
Right.
one of the big reasons why they were playing good at one point in Chicago, right? So he's not there anymore, and this could be one of those things. But at the same time, you need a leader in that team. I mean, Tim Anderson, I haven't seen. He's been injured as well, right? So um,
Yeah, man.
I feel like he should be the one of the leaders there because he went to the USA team when they played in the WBC. I saw how good he was. He got to see the interaction with all these players and how playoff baseball was played. So maybe he could be one of those big time leaders out there. But who knows, right? Who knows? Like I don't know. I'm not in the clubhouse. I don't know what's going on in that clubhouse with the White Sox. But something needs to change. And if they get to the month of June with being in last place or around that level, I think they need to start selling because I think they just have too much talent. You have Dylan Cease, Lucas Giolito, Mike Clevenger at one point was throwing really good for the Guardians. Lance Lynn, like he has a lot of strikeouts, but look at his ERA. It's 7.16. That's high, dude.
That's
That's
very
high. I'm
high.
pretty sure he has like 5 starts already.
He
So
does.
he does, right? So I think that's one of the things that needs to happen there. Um, but yeah, anything else you want to add for the Chicago Cubs? I mean Cubs, Chicago White Sox.
Uh, it's funny, man. They just overcame a 10-game losing streak, which is very bad for them. It looks like if you look at this roster to start the year, you would think they were going to make a push for the playoffs. Jasper had very high hopes for his team, and
Yeah,
unfortunately, defensively with Benintendi, Robert, and Eloy Jimenez, you thought you had a good outfield, but they just have not performed, Carlos. And
yeah,
hopefully, they could change things around. And this organizations has struggled for a while already, so it's time to see them start putting up some dubs out there.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
like, I totally agree with you. If by the month of June, if they are not performing still, it's time to sell and it's time to rebuild. They have a little young talent in the minor league system that could definitely, get some good pieces as well. So,
yeah.
see what
Go Sox,
let's see
go
how
or
it all
go
plays
go
out.
Sox. It's the Go Sox go or go Sox, right? So we'll see what happens with these guys when June hits, and we'll be talking about it. And if it does happen to where they're not playing good, we could come back to this video and we're like, "Hey, man, told you," like one of those things. But I mean, you don't want to see a team get dismantled when you have a lot of talent. It happened to many so a lot of teams, like a lot of people, and I'm gonna bring up the Dodgers because I am a Dodger fan. I usually don't like talking about it, but the Dodgers did get dismantled having all those court players at one time, right? Uh, Bellinger, you're talking about Bellinger, you're talking about all these other players that don't play for Dodgers anymore, which were fan favorites. But you start looking at those things, and sometimes you have to change things up. You can't just stay the same and keep playing the same way. You have to change it up. You have to kind of have different, players show up to your team, which the Dodgers did. They went younger. They went to see if the young bucks can play the game. Right now, they're trying to get it together. They're not all there yet, but maybe the White Sox need to start doing the same thing. I think the White Sox have a lot of players in the minor leagues that can come up and do the same thing that the Dodgers did. So um, I know they haven't won the division like in the past years to be really really good and be successful, but at the same time, you have all these names there, dude. Too many names that are known with the White Sox, and
That
that's
is
what's
true.
hard, man. That's what's hard. It's really hard.
It
It's
really
really
is, and
right.
the GM and the manager are definitely on the hot seat. Like Jasper just mentioned, the GM was saying there's going to be some shaking up in Chi-Town. So
Yeah,
wait for some moves. This team definitely needs to start getting in the winning column, or else there's people are going to get fired here if they don't
yeah,
start winning. So
yeah. You have
it's
Joe
time to
Madden out
panic.
there that can coach. Joe
Yeah,
Madden's
man.
out there, he can go. You have who else is out there? There's a lot of other coaches that can coach there, but for some reason we'll have to wait. We just have to wait, just like we have to wait for the Cardinals. We have to wait for the White Sox and see what happens. And they're both in the Central, so it
It's
could
been
be that it's cold.
it was a tough month of April for some teams, Carlos, and
Yeah,
some
yeah,
teams dug themselves really deep already. It's been the first month of the season, and now it's time to question if they could make a comeback. So
Yeah,
it's still
yeah,
too early, but these teams struggled really bad to start the year.
yeah. Well, if we don't have anything else to say about the White Sox, we'll hold it there. Jasper, if you have more stuff, man, just let us know. We'll go through them. But before we continue, I just want to say that if you're here for the first time and you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. And if you don't like what you see, put it on the comment and tell us, hey, man, change it up, do this, do that. Like that would help out a lot. If you can hit that like as well, that will help out a lot. It goes a long way. But before we head into the did you know, we didn't even go over the injuries update. The injury update, which we have Miguel Rojas is coming back today. Bryce Harper got activated today, and Justin Verlander is coming back on Thursday. So, for you that are fantasy lovers out there, if you still see fantasy, you have Verlander coming back. You better put him take him out of the IL and put him on the starting rotation. Then you have Bryce Harper. He should be back playing tomorrow, right?
That is correct. Bryce Harper is coming back tomorrow. He was supposed to be cleared by July. He is coming 2 months earlier than expected. For the Phillies, this is much needed. The Phillies are currently playing 500 balls, so they definitely need his offensive power and his leadership in the team, and so
Yeah,
they can make a second half push like they did last year.
yeah, yeah. And he came 100. What is it? 159 days what is it, after surgery, which you just said it, 2 months. He still needs 2 months to go, but he's not going to be throwing the ball. He's just going to be swinging the bat. So we'll see how that goes.
And it
Um,
looks like he'll be playing first base, correct, Carlos? Looks like he's trying out for first.
I think
So
that's where they're putting them out there. So yeah, dude, Jamal just said bring back Aussie, dude. That would be amazing. That guy defended his players to the end, which is really, really, really cool. I think that's what the White Sox need. They need one of those coaches to help, set that team right. And I think he was a strict coach, if I remember correctly.
yeah,
But
man, Aussie Guillen was definitely must-watch TV, man.
yeah, right.
He
He
even
would
got
get
up
kicked
on
out
the
of a lot of
umpire's
games.
face. He would talk some smack to these
Yeah,
umpires. He was ready to
yeah.
throw some fights.
Yeah. Well, dude, I have one for you. Who was
Okay.
the first? Who was the? Since we were talking about Bryce Harper, uh, do you remember where he started his career? Where his first game?
Damn, no, I don't know.
No. All right.
Washington
So
Nationals.
he
Let's
was with the
see.
Washington Nationals,
This was around
um,
probably like 2012.
2012. Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
Damn.
Uh huh.
He's probably against the Phillies. I'm pretty sure.
No. So the
Ah,
first game was 2012. No, 20. Was it 2012? Yeah, it's 2012, April 28th, right here at Dodger Stadium against Chad
interesting.
Billingsley, dude. Um, he got a
Ah,
double. He took his helmet off. He ran all the way to second. He was a little kid. I believe he was 19. So 11 years ago, on April 28th, he opened here at Dodger Stadium. Now he's coming back from Tommy John. Guess where he's at? He's in Los
Dodger
Angeles.
Stadium.
He's Dodger Stadium. So
I
it
have to
makes
give it
sense
away.
for him to come back, right?
Good story, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
And then we have Justin Verlander starting. He's definitely a great ace. The Mets
yeah,
need him.
yeah,
Max Scherzer with his suspension, obviously. So the
yeah,
Mets are also playing kind of 500 balls. So they definitely need his leadership and pitching skills on the field.
yeah.
So
Hey, Frank
Frank
Thomas could
Thomas.
probably go out and still hit 20. That big hurt? Why not, man? This guy used to hit bombs anywhere. He's still big too. I think
Dude, I was
he
scared
came
of
out.
this guy.
Yeah. he comes out in TBS and he said he still can hit the ball. There was a video
Really?
on Gary Sheffield. Remember Gary Sheffield? The
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Little
Okay,
twist on the
so
bat.
this guy had a cigar. He was over there hitting bombs in some high school, and believe he's 51 years old or 50 years old and still hitting bombs. So I believe that if Frank Thomas comes back or anything like the only thing that would kind of make him not hit the ball is because when you get older, you feel like you can do it, but your body does some different things. So I believe that Frank Thomas can still come back and hit home runs. Maybe even coach. Why not? He can be a coach. He does that
Right.
TBS. TBS,
He's
he
an
has some
he's an
good
MLB
points.
analyst, so why not?
Yeah,
He knows how to
yeah,
break
yeah,
down the game, and
yeah,
he's watched
yeah,
enough baseball where he knows the ins and outs of baseball. He's
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
coach.
Yeah, he can do it. Let's move on to next one. And this next one is one of the coaches at Little League, and Chewy, he's here. He told me about this guy, and I want to say, did you know Ronald Acuna is batting 352, 23 runs, 14 RBI, 13 stolen bases, on base percentage 444, and slugging 546. I know he got hit today in the shoulder, and this kind of sucks because I'm putting them out there right now. This guy's doing it quietly. It's not one of those things where he's making a lot of noise and a lot of people are talking about Acuna. He's doing this really quiet. He's doing it to where um, he's making noise in Atlanta, but not around the world type of thing. And
Hmm.
352 batting average. That's amazing. I know it's only the first month, but he's stealing bases. Look, what did I talk about earlier when Cunha got sat the next day because he didn't hustle off of home plate. So this is something amazing to me. I just see it and I'm like, wow, this kid is trying to prove something. Is he trying to be MVP? Because he was one of the favorites to be MVP last year. Do you remember?
He really was, and he definitely has some power to his bat. He's just showing signs that he is definitely one of the top players here in the NL, and he has definitely the potential to be the MVP this year. You see
Yeah.
his home run he hit today as well. He hit a home run off a three-story deck, so it was pretty amazing to see. If you guys haven't caught the highlight, check it out from today's game. There was a doubleheader game today, and then the last game he was taken out by injury by his shoulder. It looks like he got hit by the pitch really badly. So hope he
Yeah, it
can
looked like it was a little
recover.
bit high, huh?
It was
Like
really high.
up in the shoulder somewhere. So he did kind of like sat down and was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play or keep on playing, but he's pretty good out there, man. The Braves are doing really good out there. There's one of the teams that they say that's going to go to the playoffs, possibly the World Series champs, and they're playing up to it right now. They're not skipping a beat right now. And this guy is doing really, really good. So, I got an update. So X-rays was negative. So that's a really good news for Braves fans. And so this guy is doing the things right. Could he be a leader? Is he the leader for the Braves? You believe, Ernie?
I definitely do think he's the leader. He's the one that keeps the young core together, and I think he motivates them to keep performing well.
Yeah,
And like Chewy said, he will make the 40-40 club, 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases. I definitely see it happening if he's healthy.
yeah. Do you think that this is going to happen this year? 40-40 club?
I mean, the stolen bases already looking up there. The home runs, he easily could hit 40. He's that
So
talented, Carlos, and he has definitely the power to do it.
so so home runs he has 5 right now. Which is we know he has the power, but he's hitting the ball opposite field. He's hitting little bunts here and there. So that could be one of those things that where he steps up and he starts doing a lot better as the time goes by because as baseball goes on, the players get better too. Like they get to
Mhm.
midseason form, and that's when it's like, wow, it's not midseason yet. It's not midseason form. So yeah, if he doesn't get injured, he'll probably be there. Jasper thinks it's 30-40. 30-30 for sure, but thirty
Yeah.
forty is like, yeah, it's reasonable as well. And then 40-40 is like big time expectation. I think it's one of those things that a lot of people are waiting for this guy. And if he does get that 40-40, no matter who is behind him, I think he should be MVP. And he keeps this going because the Braves are still playing good baseball. They're not a team that's kind of like laying down on anybody. They're playing hard baseball. You have Strider there
Mhm.
that's been pitching lights out, so you
Did you
have
see his quads pick today of Strider?
yeah, yeah.
Dude, this guy
Which
has some quadzillas out there.
yeah, so the Braves
But
are
man,
doing well,
Acuna
man.
is definitely a great player, Carlos. It was unfortunate that he was injured during their World Series win, and
Yeah,
it shows to you how great the Braves are, man. The
yeah.
guy who didn't play in the World Series, and they still have this guy to perform. And this year, definitely is World Series or bust for the Braves. So we'll see how it all
Shu
plays out.
says Shu says he's a hype man in the dugout, and I talked to him earlier. Here, say he's a hype man in the dugout. That's why they won the World Series because he was there, cheering them on. But I can see him being a leader because I don't remember the story with Freddie Freeman and how he told him, "Hey, this is not the Braves way," and this guy kind of got a little upset about it. And when you're a leader, you kind of hate hearing other people telling you what to do. So I kind
Mhm.
of do see Acuna being a leader. I don't see. I mean, a hype man, yeah, he can be a hype man. Why not? but at the same time, I kind of see him being a leader. Because when players are leaders, they hate when someone else tells them what to do. So for him getting mad at what Freddie Freeman told him then, that you can't have long hair, or you kind of be respectful in a way and on the field, because you still have Riley out there. You had the shortstop that went to the Cubs, Swanson.
Swanson.
Um, I kind of see him as being a leader as well. Now he's with the Cubs, but I think it's Acuna that needs to take this step and needs to show the Braves the way, and maybe he is. I would like to see be in that dugout and see who is the one that hypes everybody up, and who's the one that's like, hey man, come on, you got to step up, you got to do this, you got to do that, and
Mhm.
it could be him. It could be him. So we'll see as the year goes on, because they're gonna say it. They're gonna say who it is, and it's not gonna be something surprising to me if it is Acuna.
Right.
So, but yeah, we talked about the Cardinals and the White Sox. Um, who's gonna have a better record of those two teams?
Oh, I think the Cardinals, man.
The Cardinals.
Yeah.
Easy for you.
Is that easy? I'm sorry, Jasper. I just think the White Sox are struggling, man, and mentally the teams are just. You could tell they're not putting enough effort, Carlos, and they're definitely
Yeah,
10-game losing streak is not fun. Players just time. They feel like the players gave up early already in the season, and that's kind of looking
yeah,
kind of bad.
it is. It is. But it is what it is for them, and they are in the Central. They could still come back. They're only nine games under 500. But who knows? Jasper, man, I'm trying to help you out. I'm trying to see what the White Sox can do, and it's not just us talking about White Sox. I think everybody's talking about how clean and good the team is, and then they just can't put it together. They haven't been putting it together for quite a while now, and we've been talking about him. We've been saying that they always struggle against the Guardians, and they always struggle against the Kansas City Royals, and these are teams that are not, I mean, up to par with the rest of the league. But for some reason, the White Sox never put it together to go all the way. When was the last time they won the World Series? 2004, I believe, or 2003?
2005.
2005. Okay, that was when the Angels won. We've been talking about that. You don't like
Still breaks
AJ
my heart.
Presinsky.
I don't like AJ Consistency for that. Every time I see him on TV, like turn that guy, mute that guy.
Yeah, lazy. I think that's what it is right now. So I think the manager needs to start, or the coach or whoever needs to start putting some fire up their butt so they can start stepping up, because it's not fun to see, little kids don't want to see grown men not hustle. Like, that makes them not want to hustle. So I mean,
Yeah.
this is what they get paid for. I mean, you should be playing, but I mean, it is what it is. We'll see what happens as we go on. Yeah, 05. You got it. Oh
Oh, five
five.
White Sox.
Ernie, do you want to say why you don't like AJ Persinski? That way Jasper
Well,
knows why you don't like him.
well, in 2005, AJ Persisky struck out, but unfortunately, they claimed that the ball hit the ground.
Yeah,
But when you watch it on video, there was no replay back then. You got to remember this, Carlos.
yeah,
The film showed that the catcher of the time, I think it was Benji Molina, if I'm not mistaken, actually caught the ball. So it should have been a strikeout. Benji Molina starts walking back to the dugout, and Adrian Persisky just starts running to first. And they
yeah,
called it safe.
yeah,
And that continued the momentum for the White Sox. And I think then the following batter hit a hit or so, and that changed the whole series.
yeah.
And
Because
the Angels
the
lost.
Angels were up 1-0 on the series. I guess the game was tied at that moment. It was
Mhm.
1-1, and what happened is that Escobar was the pitcher. He it looked like it hit the dirt, but it didn't hit the dirt. And AJ Persinski ran to first, and I guess the Angels were already off the field. They rolled the ball to the pitcher's mound, and they rolled off the field. And then the umpires called it safe. Mike Scioscia comes out, everything comes out, and man, I remember that because I think the Angels were favorites to win that year
They really
because
were.
they had a
And
good record.
we really had a great record. And I think the White Sox were the wild card team that year, Carlos.
Yeah.
If I'm not
Oh,
mistaken, I think if Jasper could correct me, but I'm pretty sure the White Sox were the wild card team. And,
yeah.
they definitely were the underdogs. And that Persisky strikeout changed the whole series.
It did. It did.
Still hurts me to this day.
Yeah. We'll see the Angels in the World Series soon. I know we will. Jasper, man, almost makes me want to watch more Cubs game. I don't know, man. I don't know if you should say that. If there's a lot of other White Sox fans out there, they'll be mad at you for that. Uh, they'll be mad at you saying that. But keep if you're a fan of the White Sox, and I'm sure you are, you know you're gonna have your ups and downs, and just like the Dodgers, you know they always make it to the playoffs, but what are they gonna do with it? And baseball is a hard sport. I want to keep telling the kids, baseball is the failing sport. You hit the ball 3 times out of 10 sometimes, not all the time.
Mhm.
And if you're not ready to be playing a sport that's a failure game, then baseball may not be for you. So think about that, you know. So dude, we reached the point in time already. We're almost at the hour mark. Is there anything else you want to say before we go ahead and log out, man?
Well, I'm just excited to see Bryce Harper tomorrow. It's going to be a good time to see him here at Dodger Stadium and see how he's able to play first base. It's going to be an interesting transition from outfield to first. But many players have done it before, and I think he has the capability of doing it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm excited to see him too because after Tommy John, I want to see how he does swinging the bat and all that stuff. I know he's not going to be throwing the ball or anything like that, but yeah, I'm just excited to see. Maybe he's kind of like revamped or kind of they're evaluating. Hey, man, we don't need to take the full year off for Tommy John. We can probably take away 2 months if you're a position player because a pitcher,
Exactly.
you do need time for that to heal and time to get your body back up and ready to go. But as a fielder, if you can do to have the Tommy John surgery and still perform out there or swing the bat, then why not? It's going to
For
take
sure.
2 less months for that to happen, and yeah, I'm excited for that too. So
And I think
we
he's
had
pumped up, man. He was that close to winning it last year, and I think he just wants to prove again why the Phillies were the real deal.
Yeah. And you just said, dude, that the Phillies are playing 500 ball with this guy coming into the mix. It
Yeah,
might boost them up. And he is a team leader. He's one of those
he really
leaders
is.
out there. So the Phillies kept in that mix, and now with him on the lineup, it's just gonna be create havoc for them. So for the East Coast teams, I know Chewy, you're a big time base fan, and the Phillies are out there, but they are the National League champs, and that's the team you got to beat. And they are showing that they're in first place. The Braves are showing they're in first place, but now you have Bryce Harper in that lineup. That's going to be a big difference. You still have the Mets too,
Mhm.
but I just feel like the Mets, for some reason, for me, are not going to make it to the playoffs. And hate me or whatever, quote me whenever they do make it, because I do want to see the Mets in the playoffs, but it's just I don't know. They have so much bad luck like in recent years, to where like they're getting players injured and stuff like that. So I just feel like the Mets won't make it
I
in
don't know,
that
Carlos.
division.
Looks like the New Yorkers are not going to like you very much. There's two New York
Nah,
teams. You're
they're not.
saying they're not going to the playoffs.
I know, but it is what it is. We're in LA, so we're super far. Great show, fellas. Thank you, Jasper, for joining. Chewy, everybody that's on here. Jamal, I did see you on here. Um, yeah, Mets fold under pressure, and that's what happened last year. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see as the season goes on. We'll see what happens there. So that was it. That was all you had to say. You said your
Yeah,
piece.
yeah. That's my
Yeah.
goodbye.
All right. Cool. All right. So I'm Carlos Baseball. This is Orny Orange. Real Talk Baseball. Signing out.